I don't need a soundbar, but the fact it's Sony tempts me. Also submarine controller, if anyone's interested. Hi everybody, welcome to this week's Ghetto Vlogs. And guys, it feels like I've already lived a week. There's been so much going on. We're going to catch up with all that in a minute. But first things first, I've got to give a massive thank you to everybody on behalf of both myself, Mrs. Retro Ghetto, Little Man, aka Seaweed Boy, he's just about forgiven me. All the well-wishers, the positivity, the congratulations on the news that we shared last week that our family is expanding, the Ghetto family is growing, and yeah, honestly, I'm not really one of them emotional people, right? This isn't an Oscar acceptance speech, but it was genuinely heartwarming to have all the sort of congratulations and the well-wishes in the comment section, and it means a lot, both of us. Mrs. Retro Ghetto actually went through all the comments, and which is unusual, because normally I think she just gives me a courtesy watch and like, and then she goes about her business, right? Which is more important things than me talking about games, right? She sees enough of my face. And a massive shout out as well to everybody that's joined the Ghetto Gang. The Ghetto Gang is growing fast. We've already put a lot on the platform. There's loads more plans as well. So yeah, that's all the thank yous out of the way. But as I say, been just a crazy week already. I've recently got back from, you know those like trampoline places? Yeah, we took the kids, a couple of mates of mine took the kids to the trampoline place, but as you're about to see from this footage, it quickly became the adults that had the most fun. Hold on. Oh! Oh! So yeah, I think we'll probably be going back on our own and having some rematches on the old duel. Remember that? What was it? Gladiators, wasn't it? Yeah, we kind of say there was a few aches and pains the next day. You get like an hour in these trampoline places, right? And I went at it hard. You know, for the first 10 minutes jumping about, I was gassed. I was 15 minutes in. I was sat having a cup of tea with the mums. Amazingly, the room's clean. After last week's efforts, Herculean efforts, to get this room how we want it again, I was determined to stay on top of it in terms of like recording the videos. So as soon as the videos were recorded, I just put everything away, made sure we stay on top of it. Speaking of last week's video, guys, or this week's video, last week's video, right? I don't think I've stopped smiling. I mean, I think definitely the best CEX lottery we've ever done. Yeah, just absolutely delighted with both of them games to be adding them to the collection. So obviously we're going to get them cleaned up. I'm going to add them to the Super Nintendo wall and to the Sega shelf later on in this episode. What else have I been doing? Oh, I took Little Man to go and watch the new Spider-Man film, Miles Morales film. It's called Into the Spider-Verse. I don't know what it's called. Miles Morales 2, we'll call it. And I seem to have an old man moan every time I go to cinema. I don't know if it's because of how much it costs these days, right? So, like, you hold it a little bit more accountable because it's so expensive. Especially when you go with the missus and she has to have a Tango Ice Blast. Anyway. Fellas, you know what I'm talking about, right? But, yeah, a little bit of a rant. Firstly, I want to say the film was really good. I really enjoyed it. I loved the first one. The art style is fantastic. I think it'll win awards. Such an amazing artistic film. It really is. I wouldn't necessarily recommend taking a 5-year-old to the cinema to see it. It's like 2.5 hours long. He got restless leg syndrome, do you know what I mean? By the, you know, halfway through he'd had enough. Was up and down to the toilet about 4 times. But a really good film, but not necessarily one for kids. Anyway, so the film aside, so we're queuing up for the cinema. We've gone relatively early, because obviously we took Little Man with us. So it wasn't overly busy, but we're in this queue. Now, Mrs. Retro Ghetto has officially got baby brain, right? I could name 10 examples. But we're standing in the queue, and she's like, oh no. I'm like, what? She'd booked the film for the day before. Same time, but the day before, right? I said, oh, don't worry about it. It'll be fine. I went and spoke to a member of staff. They did the whole computer says no. I'll go and get the manager thing, right? So the manager comes out. And I'm kindly explaining to the manager what's happened. I'm clearly with a 5-year-old and my obviously pregnant partner at this point. mini Ghetto's a big bump right now. And I'm explaining to him that, look, you can clearly see that we haven't been. You can scan the barcode. We clearly haven't attended. We didn't come yesterday. We're not trying to watch the film twice. There's hardly anyone here. I'm sure you've got spare seats. And this manager was kind of taking the conversation to a place where he wasn't going to let us go and watch the film. I mean, a heavily pregnant woman, a 5-year-old, an empty cinema, and he was like, I don't know word for word, but he was sort of taking the conversation to a place as if you wouldn't be able to do anything for us and we'd have to pay again. And it's already extortionate, right? Eventually, common sense prevailed, but I had to become very assertive with this gentleman to get to that point. And I just thought, really? Like, is that where we're at? That a cinema's gonna not allow someone to go and watch a film, let alone a pregnant person and a 5-year-old, right? When they've clearly paid, clearly not attended. Anyway, in the end, he went away, came back, gave us some tickets. Common sense prevailed, I guess. So I don't have to name and shame the cinema chain, but it's just one of the things. I just thought to myself, if I'd have been, let's say, less assertive, and just asked the question, he'd have said no and gone on my way, what would I have done? Paid another £35 or whatever it is to watch it. Anyway, I'm going to stop going cinema, right? Because every time I go, like I say, I end up in these old man rants. So, yeah, that's part of that. We'll just start buying DVDs, right? I haven't got any parcels open yet, but I've gone against my rule, guys. I bought digital games. I bought 2. I just randomly went on the Nintendo Switch eShop. They had a really good sale on them, and they always have, to be fair. First game I bought was literally expiring the same day, so there's no point in me telling you about go and buy it now because I think it's expired. But that was Outrun, a part of the Sega Ages. So the original Outrun, it was like £1.79. I actually own it on the Mega Drive, but it's just so much more accessible on the Switch. When I first put it on, I wasn't impressed. I think it's one of them games where you have to revert it back to like retro mode or original mode. The sort of new updated visuals didn't really work for me. And the other game that I picked up was The Messenger, a game I've been wanting for a long time. I missed its initial limited run release, and as a result it's become a very expensive game, similar to what happened to me with Blazing Chrome. I bought it digitally, really enjoyed it. Eventually that got a wider physical release, so I now own it. But yeah, it's become very expensive, so I think that was like, again, 70% off, so it's like less than £5. And I do think that one is still actually available now on the Switch shop, so if it's something that you're interested in, go and check it out. But speaking of which, actually, there is a Switch release coming this week that I've been waiting a long time for, physical. So we're going to go and pick that up. We'll go and actually go and buy a game from a shop. I'll shop around. It'll probably be Argos, right? That'll be cheaper. We'll do the usual comparison and laugh at people that buy things from Game at full price when there's an Argos next door. But yeah, so that's sort of where I'm at in terms of this week and what I've been doing. Every time I look at these games, I think I said it about 8 times on the video, right? But that's why I do what I do right now. Honestly, I'm elated. Especially when you got a game like this that you got history with, right? Every collector's got a game that's got history. You know, what's that Nicolas Cage film? Gone in 60 Seconds. He's got history with that car. Is it Eleanor? Every collector's got that game or a couple of games they've got history with. They've had it, they've let it go. They should have bought it, but they didn't buy it. One of them stories, right? Castlevania New Generation was very much that game for me. So really happy to have itched that scratch. But what we're going to plan tomorrow is to go out and do some hunting. Because I spent all my vouchers on that CEX lottery, I need to get vouchers in my life, right? I don't like not having CEX vouchers. There was actually a very heavy hit in Super Nintendo game, Sod's Law, came into stock at CEX last night. Far too expensive for me to buy outright in cash. And obviously I woke up this morning and it had gone, but I had the opportunity to buy it there and then, but had I had the vouchers, I would have. So yeah, we need to go and do some hunting. So the plan is to go to Carboot in the morning. The caveat to that is it's currently pissing it down. So I don't know if it's going to be dry enough. If it's dry in the morning, we'll go Carboot. But either way, we're going to go and do some charity shop hunting. Maybe even a video game store. Depends. I haven't fully decided exactly where we're going yet. But either way, we're going to go and do some game hunting. Tonight is my night in the 3.0. So I'm going to be getting some gaming done. I think I'm getting towards the end of Zelda. I say the end of the story. I'm about 100 hours in. And I haven't got it in me to keep exploring anymore. As much as part of me I want to. it's time for me to finish that game and finish the story. So I think I'm pretty close to doing so. So tonight, hopefully, will be the night that I get that game finished, and then we're going to go into a new game. I've been putting it on the Ghetto Gang on Patreon, allowing people to sort of vote on what games I play next and stuff like that. So it'll be interesting to see what game I pick up next, because the backlog is so big, right? There's so many games right now that I can't wait to play. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm gonna try and relax, enjoy my evening in here, and yeah, try and get somewhat of an early night ahead of what could potentially be a very early Carboot sale. But yeah, man, let's do this. Good morning. So yeah, I had quite a late night last night playing Zelda. Still didn't get it finished. At this rate, baby Ghetto will be here before I manage to finish Tears of the Kingdom. You might be wondering where I am. I'm in the old 2.5. Obviously, we've got to get through this room, and that kind of ties me into this morning and what we're going to do today. Slight tweak to the plans. I'm still going to go to the Carboot, but it's more in luck than expectation. I'm not going to be there at the crack of dawn. It's already 7 o'clock now. My thinking is, I'm in the 2.5 now. I'm going to grab some stuff from in here, and we're going to go and take it to Kirkby Sales and Exchange. It helps me to clear out this room, and obviously if they want to buy some of this stuff, then that will give me some money with which to spend in their amazing store. Also, the Carboot is on the way, but what I don't want to do is get to the Carboot at 6 o'clock in the morning, wait around for 2.5 hours to then go to Kirkby Sales and Exchange. Equally, it's too far to go Carboot, come back and then go there again when it's already halfway there. So what we're going to do is going to have quite a lazy Carboot, if you like. We'll get to the Carboot about 7:30, 8. As I say, more in luck than expectation. Then we're going to head to Kirkby Sales and Exchange, see if they want to buy some of this stuff from me, have a look around their amazing shop, and then we're going to go, on the way back, we're going to go and do some charity shops. There's quite a few areas in and around there that have got a lot of charity shops, so let's hope we can build them CEX vouchers back up. But let's take a look at what we've got in this room. So as you can see, it's an absolute mess because I've just been in here diving through things, picking up things here and there. And guys, anybody that's got a spare room will know it quickly becomes a dumping ground. But we've got to get this room not only clear, but turned into a baby's room imminently. So today's going to help with that. Loads of standees and promotional stuff, some of which I really want to keep, but I just have no room for. But we'll go through all that stuff in a minute. There's some consoles, so I might take some consoles with me. There's like toys, some like real good stuff in here. And I've got these Mortal Kombat masks. There's both the Sub-Zero and the Scorpion one there. I love those things. I really wanted to display them, but I just cannot find a decent home for them in the 3.0. I've got PlayStation 3 there, which I might take with me. But if we look at some of this promo, guys, we've got some really nice stuff. We've got a Mario Odyssey standee here. Got this like life-size Batman from the Arkham games. This Street Fighter 4 promo piece. This is the bottom half of the Red Dead Undead Nightmare piece. It's currently in the 3.0. God of War Remastered. It just goes on and on and on, guys. There's so much. This was a charity shop find. I'll take that with me today. It's still sealed first season VHS special edition of Stranger Things, so that can go with me today. That can go with me today. I'll probably take a Nintendo Wii. What else have we got here? I love this standee as well, the Donkey Kong one. I'd love to find room for that in the 3.0. God of War. Got that Gears of War 3 standee. There really is just so much stuff. There's another God of War there. Yeah, the backlog is real in terms of games, and the backlog in terms of stuff is real as well. But yeah, I've got to get this room tidied up. Mrs. Ghetto keeps reminding me. So yeah, let's get some of this stuff out of here today. Fellas, if you don't get rid of as much stuff as you'd like, what do you do? Just push it to one side. Make it look like you've done more than you have, right? Look at that, babe. Got rid of loads of stuff. Okay guys, so I've made it. Definitely here, more in luck than expectation. I say I'm about 2 hours later than what I would usually be. So I'm not expecting a load of video games sat on the floor waiting for me. However, I collect weird, wonderful things, right? You never know, like with any hunt. That's the beauty of it. what's going to be here. There could be that one thing that I'm the only person in the world that wants, right? So yeah, let's see what we can find. Then we're going to fly to Kirkby Sales and Exchange, and then we're going to go and hit up some charity shops. So yeah man, let's see what we can find. Okay, so I've only been here a couple of minutes and we've already got a handful of good CDs, so at least we won't be leaving empty-handed. So we've already done better than last week. Yeah man, let's see what else we can find. I'll have that one, 50p then, mate. Appreciate it, thank you.
Okay, well, that was unexpected. And it pretty much sums up Carbooting, right? Last week I came, the weather was better. I was here 2 hours earlier. It was dead, I left with nothing. This time it's a little bit colder, which I actually prefer, to be honest. It's significantly later, it's like 9 o'clock now. And there was quite a lot of stuff, and I bought quite a few bits. So yeah, definitely happy I decided to call in here on the way. First stores, I think you guys saw, we're selling some CDs. He wanted £2 for every CD, there was like 100. I don't want to be taking home 100 rubbish CDs, right? but he still wanted to charge me £2 for the ones I did get, to try and encourage me to buy them all, but I said, nah mate, I'll just take these. So I paid £2 for these. We've got the Jay-Z and Linkin Park collaboration. Jay-Z's Blueprint, classic album. I've owned this multiple times. I think I've got it lying around the car probably twice, but I'm not sure if I've got a nice sort of boxed condition for the collection, so we'll take that. It's an interesting one. Outcast, if you didn't know, you know now. This looks to be some sort of like promotional release, for promotional use only, not for resale. So yeah, not sure what that is, but we'll take it. I've got The Alchemist, First Infantry, Bone Thugs and Harmony, Bone Thugs and Harmony. And when he said to me, like, just take them all, I just grabbed another one. I don't usually buy sort of these compilations, but Ride the Rhythms. This is one that will just end up loose and just lay around the car. I might even put it on now for the trip. I did find a couple of games. So the first game I think I found was Banjo-Kazooie. I said to this guy who had a few games, amateur games, said nothing good there, 50p each. I thought this traded in for about £3-4. I don't know if it's come down in price or I was mistaken, because there isn't that much trading on this now, but it's definitely worth picking up for 50p. And this one, Transformers the Game. Different guy wanted £2 on this one. I got it for £1. I think CX sell this for a £5. Always keep a look out for the Transformers games. Some of these are very expensive. We found one in a charity shop a few months back that was worth at the best part of £20. I don't actually own this in the collection, so it was well worth picking up for £1. And then the last thing I picked up was this Xbox One controller. It was at a store where everything was individually priced. Cooking Mama was like a £5, I think, on the Wii. This is a third-party controller. It said £4. I offered her £2. I didn't think she'd take it, but she did. The reason I bought this is I've only got one Xbox One controller, so obviously if I want to play two-player with Little Man or whomever for a couple of quid, I won't going to leave it there. So yeah, nice. Happy with that. Nice few finds. Lovely day. So nice start to the day. I said we're going to fly now to Kirkby Sales and Exchange, see if they want to buy some of my stuff, of which, yeah, there's quite a lot of stuff. Just random like charity shop finds I've had over the years that I've been sitting on. Random stuff. PlayStation 3 in there. I bought my Mortal Kombat busts. I'm not going to give them away because I really like them and there's quite a lot of value in them. If they give me a good price, I'll sell them. If not, I'm happy to keep them because I live in hope that one day I'll find a place for them. But yeah, man, nice little stop that. Let's head over to Kirkby. Wow. Yeah, I always enjoy going to Kirkby Sales and Exchange, but guys, there is gold in this bag. I've left with stuff that I never envisaged I'd be leaving with. Obviously, we're going to look at it all in closer detail when we get back to the 3.0, but yeah, a game that I've actively been pursuing, a game that was not even on my radar, a very heavy hitter, Super Nintendo that, yeah, I didn't even envisage buying anytime soon. And a brand new PS5 game, which, when was the last time that happened, right? So, yeah, it's always a fantastic time at Kirkby Sales and Exchange, and today was no different, let me tell you. I'll discuss it in more depth, as I say, when we get back. So, I was kind of thinking, I don't even know if I want to go charity shops anymore. You know, like I've had that high now of finding this stuff. But we're going to go fly to Alfreton, where I went a couple of weeks ago. I haven't got loads of battery left on my phone, so I don't know how much recording I'm going to do. I'm going to go and run around the charity shops. I'll obviously record should I find anything. And then let's get back to the 3.0 and yeah, let's take a look at this stuff. As you can see, I'm back in the 3.0 after what turned into a very successful game hunt. Surprisingly so. I did not anticipate coming back with the amount and the quality of stuff that I've got, but let's dive straight into it. You guys have already seen what I picked up at the Carboot sale. I've got all of this stuff and that Xbox One controller, so I won't need to show you guys that again. Last I saw you, I made you aware I was going to go to Alfreton and hit up all the charity shops there. I picked up just one game, and that was Sniper Elite 3. It was in one of them charity shops where everything's individually priced. This wasn't like a set price. I can't remember exactly how much it was. It might have been £3 or £4, which is probably why it was still sat on the shelf. But there's quite a bit of value in this. I think CEX trade this for £5 or £6, which would suggest to me they sell it for about 10. Always worth checking on Sniper Elite games. They're quite up and down. Some are worth nothing, but some are definitely worth picking up, as this one is. I don't own this, so this will probably be going in the collection, which is always nice to find games that you need for the collection. And I think Sniper Elite 3 might have had an Xbox One release. I know that we found an Xbox One Sniper Elite quite recently. And yeah, just a nice game to find. But to be honest, I didn't care if I found something or not, because I was still walking around with a smile on my face from the stuff that I picked up at Kirkby Sales and Exchange. And man, I love that shop, I really do. I love going in there. I was in there that long, I had a cup of tea with the owner, Nina. Shout out to Nina. Always great to see her. I was in the store for ages. You guys have seen the footage, right? There's so much good stuff in there. It's always well priced, but not only that, of all the stores I've ever been to in the UK and traded stuff in, I think they give the fairest price for your goods. So yeah, they took pretty much everything that I took in, including the Mortal Kombat busts, which I didn't really want to sell. But equally, I've got no room for them, so I'm better off to turn them into stuff that I have got room for, rather than them just collecting dust in storage or in the loft or whatever. So let's get straight into it. The first game that I picked up from Kirkby Sales and Exchange is one that I've been actively pursuing. You guys will know. This was a failed CEX lottery. It's not only a Super Nintendo game, so one for the full set, it's also a shmup, so one for the subset of the shmups for the Super Nintendo. That is a tongue twister. We made it. That's years of listening to hip hop right there. Now you guys know I'm not picky when it comes to condition. However, this is too rough even by my standards. You see there's all damage here. The back of the box, I mean, what can I say about that? Other than I'm going to wash my hands once I finish recording. But the reason I picked this up, this is complete, if you could call it that. The manual's in decent condition. Obviously it's got the cartridge. Guys, it was just £12. I don't even think you can get the cartridge for less than £12, and I'm pretty sure there's a box only sitting on eBay. So I'm probably going to buy the box only, turn this into a really nice one for the collection. I think it's like a £35 game at CEX, and yeah, you guys know I've been after it, so for £12 there's no way I was leaving it behind, and yeah, very happy to add another shmup to my Super Nintendo set. Next up, I bought a brand new game, which is very much unlike me. For years I've been anticipating the release of this game, and I would have always anticipated me buying this on day one. I thought this was a game that I was guaranteed to pick up on day one. However, there's been a small game, I don't know if I've talked about it before, called Tears of the Kingdom, which has taken up all my time. So it made no sense for me to go out and spend £60, £70 or whatever a brand new game costs these days, when ultimately I can't commit to it because I don't have the time and I'm very much focused on completing another game, Zelda. However, today was the right time. This is a used copy. It was down to like £38 instead of like whatever the 70 it is brand new. And as I say, it was just part of the sort of trade that we did, so it didn't really cost me any cash. And that is Street Fighter 6. I've heard nothing but good things about this game, and that delights me so much. Street Fighter 5 was a very polarizing game. It got met with such poor reaction when it came out. Over time, I think it became a good game. They put quite a lot of content into it, but it was never fantastic by Street Fighter standards. I'm a huge fan of Street Fighter 2. I'm a huge fan of Street Fighter 3. Really enjoyed Street Fighter 4. And whilst I did put quite a bit of time into Street Fighter 5, went for a period of a few months of playing online and trying to get good, I never fell in love with the game. But by all accounts, this is a step up. This is I've not heard anybody say anything negative about this game, and I've kind of always had this dream of being good at a Street Fighter game. You guys know how much I love Street Fighter, right? All you got to do is cast a quick look around this room at all the Street Fighter. I love the artwork, I love the lore, I love it. But I've never been quote unquote good at a game. I've been proficient at games, better than your average, but I've never been good. I've never mastered a game or mastered a character and really sort of like dedicated myself to getting good online. But this might just be that game from what I'm hearing. So yeah, very, very happy to pick this up, and it's just a case of right game, right time. And that takes me to a game that I had no idea that I'd be picking up today. A very expensive game, a very heavy hitting game for the Super Nintendo, and after purchasing it and looking into it, I actually think I had this as a child. I think I had the Mega Drive version, because it just, you know, when you get that little like pang of nostalgia, you recognise certain sort of screenshots on the box art, and you look into the gameplay and you think, yeah, there's a small part of me that recognises that. It might be that I had it, it might be that I rented it from Blockbuster or something, but that game is £120 at CEX. I got it today for £100, it's box complete, and that is RoboCop versus Terminator. This action-adventure game got its European release in 1995 and was developed by Virgin Interactive. As I say, it was originally released on the Mega Drive, and by all accounts I think it's actually held in higher regard on that system. The story itself is loosely based on the Frank Miller comic series, and you actually play as RoboCop, and Terminator is the quote-unquote bad guy as he was in the original movie. The way in which they tell the story is very similar to a comic, almost reminiscent of games like Comic Zone, and yeah, it's just one of them games, right? I assume when this game came out in the early to mid 90s that it sold itself. What could be cooler than RoboCop and Terminator in one game? And yeah, I mean, even now, even though it's quite a plain box, just look at the artwork of those two. Just legendary, iconic, you know, just badass figures, right, in the movie world. And just, yeah, I love coming home with not only heavy hitting Super Nintendo games for my collection, but ones that I had no idea I'd be coming home with, right? I didn't know I'd be coming home with a heavy hitting Super Nintendo game, and that's what this is all about, right? That's the love, that's the thrill of the hunt for me. Going out, not knowing what you're coming back with, and to come back with some great stuff, including what is, I think, a quite uncommon game. I've never seen it in stock at CEX, and it's certainly not a cheap game. The manual's not in great condition, but you know, I think for the price I paid, it's fantastic, and especially when, as I say, I didn't spend any cash at all. This was all done via trade-in. So massive shout out to Nina over at Kirkby Sales Exchange. Always enjoyed my time there, and as I say, if you'd have walked in today, you would have seen me chilling with a cup of tea, taking my time looking at everything. And for me, Super Nintendo games, cup of tea, I mean, what more could you want from a day out, right? So yeah, absolutely buzzing with the pickups. I'm going to try my damnedest now to get Zelda finished. I'm at that point now where I've really enjoyed the game, but I want it done. I've kind of got my mind set on just getting through the missions now, completing the game, taking it off the list. The backlog is real, guys. We're going to take a look on this vlog at the sort of the games that I really want to play, the games I've picked up in recent weeks and months that I need to whittle down to games that I'm actually going to play next. Ghetto gang members are going to be able to help me as well in pick one game over another, and yeah, we're going to look at that a little bit later on in the vlog. We're also going to take a look at these cables that were kindly sent to me by Dylan. So when I do play a Super Nintendo game, I want to do like a before and after and see if there is much difference in these cables, which he swears by. So yeah, that'll be interesting to see as well. But yeah, man, I'm going to make a cup of tea. I'm going to crack on with Tears of the Kingdom, and yeah, man, what a great day. Let's go.
Retro Ghetto.
Okay, so I'm headed to my local CEX with a bag full. Loads of random DVDs that I've cleared out the 2.5. Some of them new games that we found yesterday that I decided I don't need in my collection. That Sniper 2 Collector's Edition that I was messing around with last week when I was tidying up the games room. Apparently that's got £14 trading on it, so that's getting taken as well. And then we're going to go and buy this new Switch game that I've been talking about. So yeah man, and obviously any charity shops that we get to on the way. Okay, so that's everything traded into CEX. We're slowly building those vouchers back up, very slowly. Now let's go and buy this game. I think they've got it at Game, and it's right there. It's part of me would rather go to Argos, but that's cutting your nose off to spite your face, innit? Let's just go and take a look. So guys, the game I've been waiting for is of course Celeste. I loved this game. I played for it a couple of years ago now. It was actually, I think, the favourite game that I played through that year. I wasn't very good at it. I managed to get it finished, but I died. Like, it tells you at the end how many times you died. I had like over 1,000 deaths, but you know, at first you don't succeed, try again. And it just, for me, it's like a seminal moment because I bought Celeste and Blazing Chrome digitally. Love them both. And being a collector, I just really wanted physical embodiments of those memories, of that enjoyment of playing those games. And over time, I'm going to stand here because of the wind. Over time, both have got wider, cheaper physical releases, which is great. And I think as a collecting community, what we need to do is learn from this. So it's all good buying limited run games as when they come out through these companies at an affordable price. But guys, don't fall suspect to scalpers. Don't go on eBay and pay £100 plus for these games, because you never know when they're going to get re-released, and often they do. And if we stop buying them at those inflated prices, then people will start selling them for them prices, and ultimately, you know, hopefully bring the prices down of the resale, which is inevitable with these limited type releases. But I mean, when you spend like £100 plus for a Switch game, I think it's just gone, in my opinion, it's getting a bit daft. And hopefully more companies that re-release these games will hopefully have an impact on that happening going forward. So I'm all for it. And yeah man, like I say, just really happy to be adding this to the collection. Okay, so guys, I'm very, very close to finally completing Zelda. 100 hours, 50 odd shrines, 20 odd hearts later, and I'm about to fight Ganon. It's been a long journey, but I'm at that point where I just want it done now, right? Because the backlog's getting out of control. I've whittled down the backlog to a selection of games, right? And I need some advice in the comments section. We're going to look through them in a moment. The real backlog is probably 10 times the size of this, right? Of games that I want to play. But this is the immediate stuff that I want to play. So let's take a look. Right, okay, so I'm kind of like trying to break it down into systems and into priority orders to what I'm going to play next. This is a game I really want to play through, but just coming off the back of a 100-hour game, an RPG isn't top of my priority list. This is the next big game that I want to sink my teeth into, along with Street Fighter. This is the sort of game that I really want to dedicate myself to, so this is one of them games that I'll probably play concurrently with other games. I'll play it in the evenings, study my craft, and then hopefully sort of play online. So these are games I really want to get into, but they're not ahead of the queue because I just want to play a few more mindless, quick games, if you like. Coming off the back of Zelda, I just feel like I need a break from
games that take tens and tens of hours. So they're very much high on the list, but I want to tick a few more off the list before we get to those. This is heavy on the list because obviously it's a game that I've always wanted to play. Bit of a grail for me. It was an expensive game. I just really want to play through this. I don't imagine it's going to be the longest game in the world, right? So that's very high on my list. These two, I've currently got a poll going on for Ghetto gang members over on Patreon. They look quite similar in the way in which they play, and that poll is literally neck and neck. The winner of that poll, I'm going to play that game next, and I'm going to do like a mini review, exclusive episode over on Patreon for that game as well. So if you're interested, if you want to see that video or you want to cast your vote, the link will be in the description below to become a Ghetto gang member. So that's pretty much taken care of one of those two. And then we've got sort of different sections that we want to be looking at. These are just two games which I'm going to play very soon because they're the sort of games that I really am intrigued by, but there's no guarantee I'm going to finish, simply because of the systems that they're on. My old man eyes doesn't necessarily do too well with this era of gaming these days. This game I've been so intrigued by, right? Very colourful game, looks loads of fun. From what I've heard, it can be quite repetitive, so very intrigued to play it. That might even be the next one I play. But I don't know whether it's the sort of game I'd finished. I'm not going to know until I sort of get my teeth into it. Another one, this is what we picked up the day that I found Maximum Carnage, the day I found out that we were going to be welcoming another mini Ghetto into the world. Yeah, just another one of them games that looks like great fun, but I can't guarantee I'm going to finish it. Do you know what I mean? It's one of them where I want to see how it plays. Sometimes PlayStation 2 hasn't held up that well. So these two are very much trial games, okay? So that's them. Then we've got Nintendo Switch, because I don't mind having a Nintendo Switch game running concurrently with something else, because obviously the portability aspect, the accessibility of it, I can take it to bed, etc. This is just a game that I feel like the whole world has played but me. Relatively easy game, I assume, right? A beat 'em up, unless you're going to go through, unlock all the characters and all that, which isn't usually my style. This is a game that just needs me to just play through it. I won't imagine it's going to take too much of my time, so that's definitely something we need to be looking at. Drainus, man, the more I hear about this game, the more I just want to pop it in and forget everything else, because I saw a review of this over on Champion 2D Rob's channel, and he was singing its praises, and it just made me want to play it even more. And guys, I just want to take this time to shout out Champion 2D Rob. One of the best pickups videos on YouTube, right? This guy, he knows his stuff when it comes to video games. Every time I watch his videos, it makes me spend money, because we've got a very similar taste. Like me, he's a big fan of the oxymoron modern retro. And yeah, he really does know his stuff. He picks up some fantastic games, and he's often showcasing games that I didn't even know existed. Rob is dangerously close to 1,000 subscribers as well. So if you good people watching this far into the vlog could jump over to Rob, help him out, what a fantastic way that would be to kick off Rob's Sunday, right? Let's just spread some positivity. And not just that, it's a fantastic channel. I don't think anybody would regret heading over to Rob's channel and checking out his content. So yeah, the link will be in the description to Champion 2D Rob's channel as well. But those are my current Switch offerings. But if I'm being honest, there's so many Switch games that I've been adding to the collection recently that deserve my time. Even games like Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze, I played a little bit on the Wii U, but never enough to sort of like finish it. There's loads of games, honestly, we could be here all day. The backlog is real, guys. So that's Switch. And then that takes me to 16-bit shmups, which obviously is one of my passions. And I've whittled what is a large selection, because I bought a lot of them recently, down to 3. UN Squadron. Just because it's one I've been wanting to play for a long time. It looks quite different from other shmups. It's got like an energy bar instead of that one-hit kill. And yeah, I got it on my birthday. There's just so much attached to this game for me that I really want to play it. And the beauty of shmups is I'm not necessarily going to play each one and think, right, I'm finishing it, because I might not even be good enough to get these finished, right? I usually have to dedicate myself to them. But I want to at least try it. And then we get these two. Very different reasons. This is one that we picked up recently over at the Stafford Toy Fair. Super Fantasy Zone. It just looks like everything I'd love, right? Bright colours. It's just one of them games that I want to play. And Truxton, of all the 16-bit shmups I think that I've added recently, this is the one that I heard probably the most positive things about. I don't think anybody within the shmup community has a bad thing to say about this game. It's regarded as an absolute classic. Just look at that artwork. So yeah, of these 3, this is probably the one that I'd like to dedicate myself to and try and beat it. So yeah, guys, this is what I think is my immediate backlog. There's probably another 10 games that I could have put in this list, but let me know in the comment section if you've played any of these, where you think I should be putting my time, and equally, if you want to get involved with actually influencing what I play next directly, head on over to Patreon and let me know. I do have a preference, but I'm going to keep that to myself. And that takes me to, where is it? Stunt Race FX. This is the giveaway that I've been talking about. So guys, for me personally, the toss-up for my favourite Super Nintendo racing game would be between Mario Kart, which for me, bar arguably Double Dash, and Mario Kart 8 is the best Mario Kart still to this day. I think it's held up so well. So much nostalgia, such a big place in my heart for this one. But all in music and everything, I'd have to say F-Zero. For me, F-Zero is, yeah, it's the icing on the cake. It's a fantastic game, and I think we can all agree it needs a reboot or a remaster or something. The Nintendo Switch is, for me, one of the most best systems ever made, hands down. If nostalgia wasn't playing a part, I'd probably say it's the best system ever. It just, for me, it just needs F-Zero, right? It's F-Zero away from that cherry on top. So many of you guys said F-Zero. I'm going to go through the comments. I'm going to pick a winner. I'm going to put the winner on screen now. Congratulations to you. Get in touch, and I will be sending this copy of Stunt Race FX. And that is going to do it for another Ghetto Vlogs. Another great week. Thank you all so much for joining me. Appreciate everybody that's took the time to watch this far. If you've enjoyed the content and you're not already, please consider subscribing. Much appreciated. Play your games, keep it retro. I'll see you all real soon. Take care.
You're watching the Retro Ghetto.
Ghetto.
Ghetto!
Yeah.